Hi there, you will have seen or you will be seeing videos from my brothers on their production and their techniques around wine production. Fundamentally, the approach that we're using here in the Midlands is volume. Here at Vaughan Wines, we definitely believe that quantity trumps quality. Particularly if you get to the second bottle, you forget everything.
Morning, I'm here on the banks of the Kennet and Avon to talk about a small upstart winery called, startup winery called Bilgewater Wines. So named to introduce a more light-hearted note into the stuffy world of winemaking, albeit that it's proving to be somewhat more descriptive than humorous. The flagship wine is called the Engine Room because it's brewed, if that's what you do with wine, behind these doors here on this narrowboat, in this narrowboat engine room. We know some of the big players have some purpose-built facilities like airing cupboards and staircases. Bilgewater Wines have none of these high-tech facilities. The 2020 offering was produced during the first lockdown when customs and excise were otherwise engaged processing tax refunds from unicorn farms which had just died up. This hatch here, I think, if we open it up, we can see some of the finished product. Not exactly a temperature controlled cellar, but I'm guessing with this it's probably not going to make much difference. If we're suggesting that this is a wine for laying down rather than drinking right away, indeed we highly recommend you lay it down. We're not actually sure whether it will improve with age, but we can but hope. One of the unforeseen consequences of a potential second lockdown, indeed we're just entering that lockdown now, is that we may be presented with another batch of this unique wine. Not sure any lockdown will be long enough to truly acquire a taste for it. However, given the loss of smell and taste is a symptom of the COVID virus, then Bilgewater Wines may have stumbled across the ideal time to launch their self-testing kit. I personally am self-testing several times a day. Cheers.
The thing is, I feel a complete failure. I feel a total failure. That's it. I feel a failure.
That feels really difficult for you.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, my brothers, they've all made their wine. All made it. You know, some have got huge production lines going, and others have done red, white, rosé, and one of them's done parsnip wine. God knows what that tastes like, but they've done it. You know, and I haven't done it, so I feel a failure. We had a plan, we had an arrangement, we'd all agreed that we were going to do some wine for my mum and dad's, you know, to see who could produce the best one for my mum and dad, and for toasting their anniversary, and I haven't done it. And, you know, it was arrangement, and I haven't done it.
Why do you think you haven't done it, Phil?
I don't know. I mean, it was... I planned to do it. I mean, it's... You know, but I haven't done it.
It sounds like it was quite competitive. You were competing.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a competition, yes, but...
Yeah.
And I just a competition to see who's got the best wine, but I haven't done it, and I just don't know what to do.
What do you want to do?
Well, I'd like to go and kick their wine over, or you know, push it down the stairs, or blow it up. That's what I'd quite like to do, but you know, big brothers don't do that sort of thing.
What do big brothers do, Phil?
Well, big brothers look after their little brothers. They come out to them and of they don't go kicking their wine over or blowing it up or that sort of stuff. They look after them.
Is that what you had to do when you were growing up? Look after your brothers?
Yeah, well, yes, I had to look after my brothers. Yeah, they were my little brothers. I had to look after them. Yeah.
Did you? That's a huge responsibility for you, Phil.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Having to be the good boy.
Well, no, it was hard to be a good boy because I was pretty perfect, really. I think, all things considered, but I just haven't made the wine.
What's perfect? What's the perfect little boy then?
Hi, my name is Graham Langley. I'm the owner and proprietor of a small winery here based in northwest London called Number 4. And we've been asked to reveal something of our story and our production methods. We here have a long traditions of producing excellent wine. And so delighted to be asked to do this. However, these long traditions, I mean, we've been producing wine here for well over 4 months now. So we'd like to reveal some of those production methods, but unfortunately, like many great institutions like KFC and Coca-Cola, we don't reveal those secrets. However, why Number 4? Well, Number 4 came about because one of our customers couldn't remember the name Graham as it was previously named. It seemed to get very inexplicably confused with Philip or Kevin or Mark or Trevor. So Number 4 was born. Anyway, we had tried to look at some other production methods some of our competitors are using, and this was the result. We've tried some of the industrial methods that some of our competitors are using.
And this isn't going to work. This is an environmental disaster here. We need to try a new method, I think.
Yes, well, I can only again profusely apologise to the residents of Northwest London. It's not something that will be repeated, and I made that clear to the magistrate. But anyway, moving on, we did try a second production method, which actually ended up proving, in some respects, though not quite the environmental disaster that the first was, in some respects proved more dangerous. And again, I can only apologise to the neighbours. I know it was a rude awakening at 4 a.m, but fortunately no loss of life was incurred, and obviously all windows can be replaced. So thank you for your understanding. But we can see the aftermath of that in this short clip.
It appears to be safe now. There's a few windows that it's taken out, but clearly this production method's not going to work either. I think we need to call the fire brigade.
Now, I know those pictures look very dramatic in the hazmat suits, and but it wasn't as toxic as the first. But all precautions had to be taken. We take safety and these things very seriously here at number 4. But clearly you can see from these trials that this was never going to do, and we will stick by our tried and trusted production methods here at number 4. Although we can't show you those, needless to say, we here always have produced exceptional quality wines, and we'll stick to those methods and refuse to adopt these newfangled methods of production that others may adopt. I do.
Thank you for reporting on our wine production efforts here in Exeter, and especially after what happened to the last reporter. Must say, I've never seen a boom mic quite that long. Perhaps we've overdone it somewhat on the health and safety after our last incident. And I do think the comparisons with Chernobyl were a little unfair, to be honest. By the way, have you completed the legal waiver form? Oh, great, then we can carry on and show you around. Good question, good question. We like to think our wines will go with anything. Beverly disagrees somewhat. She feels the landing walls and the carpet perhaps not such a good idea, but yeah, each to their own. And talking about the production and its challenges, we've certainly now think we're going to be getting very close to, I know setting targets is a rod for your own back, but really we're pretty confident that within the next week to a month we should be up to bottling 6 bottles a month. you know, we're pretty confident about that. Yep, I know about last month, but that was wayward yeast. I won't put it any stronger than that. No one was killed. The injuries are healing well, and after the redecoration, well, it'll all be forgotten. So if you don't mind, if we could just get it back to the wine and less about the explosion, that'd be great. But that's it. The interview's over. I'm talking no more about it.